Hey everyone, and welcome to 2020. Happy 2020. Today is the goal planning workshop that I'm about to do here in Chiang Mai at the Nomad Coffee Club. We've got a ton of people, and we're gonna get started, so let's get started right away, guys.
Johnny, everyone knows Johnny. He's been nomading since around 2013, in and out of Chiang Mai and Thailand. Last week we did a great talk about Tbilisi and other places, and he's going to talk to us about goal setting today. Thank you very much, Johnny.
Thank you, Shane. All right, so before we get started, does everyone have one of those worksheets? If you don't, there's some on that white chair there, and there's some more over here. Also, if you need a pen, you can just feel free to grab one. If you want to throw 10 baht in the coin, you can, but if you don't, it's fine. The reason why we really want to write the goals down is because it becomes much more real than being on your phone and just writing it in notes. And that's why I went out and printed these 50 copies and I brought all these pens. Because in my personal experience, it's helped so much to actually write down the goals versus to type it out on a computer or put into like a notepad on our phones. That's something you can put in later into Trello or however you want to do it. But the physical act of writing it in really makes it real. So let's get started. Hi, my name is Johnny FD. If you guys haven't met me, I've been living in Chiang Mai for about 6 years off and on now. I host the Nomad Summit that's coming up in a few weeks, and I'm really excited for that because normally that brings in 300-400 people into town, and it becomes like a really, really cool place for Chiang Mai to connect with both the local expat community, the digital nomad community that's here year round, but also the digital nomads who come specifically just for the event. And usually it's about half-half, so 150 people come to Chiang Mai just for that event. So it's gonna be really, really fun. But today's topic is gonna be about goal setting and about you guys. So today's goal setting workshop is for 2020. I hope everyone's had a good 2020 so far. It's only been 2 days, so if not, I'm sorry. But the categories we're gonna kind of go over, and you might have different ones, but just to kind of give everyone's brains working now, you might start thinking, what are your goals for health and fitness, skills and knowledge, language learning, wealth or business, increasing your net worth, paying off debt, whatever it is, building up future prospects, maybe like, building up a startup or foundation, whatever it is. Maybe it's experiences and travel, or your goals could be in relationships, or it could just be overall happiness. So just keep this in mind while we go through the next couple of slides. We're really going to break this down in 2 parts. The first is setting the goal, and the second is helping everyone here really formulate a solid plan to how you're going to achieve the goal. So I'm a big fan of keeping everything simple, so KISS, as well as other acronyms like SMART, SMART goals. And this is something that's really, really easy, but it's an easy way to set a goal that's very specific and very realistic. So S stands for specific. What actually do you want to achieve in 2020? Measurable. How do you know you achieved it or not? Attainable by you. Is it something that you could actually do? Is it, and to kind of break these down a little bit more, like specific, you might say like, oh, I want to be healthy this year, or I want to get in shape this year. But like, what does that actually mean? Like, put some numbers and metrics to it. How do you know when you are healthy? Is it the way you look? Is it what you weigh? Is it being able to run X amount of miles before you get tired? What is it? Is it something very specific? Measurable. Those are the numbers. Instead of saying like, I want to feel more healthy, you might say I want to weigh this much, or I want to be able to do 10 pull-ups, or I want to be able to do whatever it is. Attainable by you is kind of like, for example, let's say your goal was to be able to run a 2-minute mile. It's like a 2-minute 2.2K. That's not attainable. Like, it's not realistic to anybody, because I don't think any world-class athlete can do that. But also, is it really attainable to you? If right now you run a 14-minute mile, probably not. So let's really think, what is an attainable goal that we can achieve this year? And there's a good quote that I like that says, we often and almost always overestimate what we can do in the next year or two, but we underestimate what we can do the next decade. So a lot of people here might have the goal of saying, I want to be a millionaire, I want to make $1 million. And if your goal is to do that by the end of the year, it might or might not happen, but it's a big gamble, right? But if you say I want to be a millionaire in the next 10 years or 20 years or 30 years, the chances of achieving that are actually relatively easy if you just follow the course. So let's make our goals attainable within this year, but also something kind of realistic that you can actually hit as well. And last, we really want it to be time bound. We want to say by this specific date or by the end of the year or whatever it is, because when we put an end date on it, that really forces us to make it happen. If we just say, oh yeah, I want to be healthier sometime in the future, it's probably not going to happen. So I'm going to use myself as an example. One of my goals this year is health and fitness. My goal is I will weigh less than 215 pounds, which is 97 kg, and I'll have visible abs by July 11th, 2020. Why July 11th? That's my birthday. So is it specific? Right? Yeah. All right. Is it measurable? Yeah, I can just get on the scale, look in the mirror. Is it attainable? Yeah, because I'm not that much heavier now, so it's not like I'm saying, I want to grow 2 inches taller or be like 50 kg. It's just never going to happen. And also, I guess it's also, is it realistic? Is it humanly possible for someone to lose 10 kg, in the next 6 months? Yeah, it's not unrealistic. And is it time bound? Yes, because I had that specific date. By my birthday, this is going to happen. So whatever your goals are, and kind of for that first part of the exercise, I want you to use this format. Just plug and play. What is your goal? How will you measure it? Really double check, is that attainable or not? If it's not, maybe adjust it. And then really put a specific date on it. And July 11th is kind of an arbitrary date. That's not your birthday, but feel free to use it if you want. And let's now actually just take a few minutes to write down some of our goals. You don't have to write down 10 of them right now, but at least one. And really use that piece of paper or use your journal, whatever you have, pen and paper. I put the examples back up here for you guys to be able to follow, to think about. And we'll take a good 4 or 5 minutes, so take your time to do it. Also, don't worry about taking too many notes. If you want to download the slides, you can just go to nomadsummit.com/goals2020 and the PDF's there. So let's take a break and I'll bring you guys back up. So everybody is writing down their goals right now. We took about 5 minutes to have everyone just take time, write them down. It's really, really helpful. It's a good exercise. And I think if we didn't do this, people would do it on their phones or maybe just put it off. But by us having the time to do it and place to do it, everybody's writing, pen and paper. I love it. All right, really cool. So let's actually make this a bit more interactive. Does anyone have an example of one of your goals that you don't mind coming up to share? Please come on up, and then we can kind of make sure it just follows the right format. So if anyone has any goals, feel free to just come up here and just share them with the world. Okay, so say your name and what your goal is.
My name is Kat, and I'd like to build up my business to a stable level.
Okay, so let's go back to the SMART goals. Stay up here, Kat, we're using it as an example. Oops. So let's ask everyone, and this isn't to tear on any one person. It's really because everyone kind of ends up making the same mistakes. So let's break it down. Is it specific? Okay. How can we make it more specific? How can you make it more specific?
He has a suggestion.
It's given them a monthly income, a monthly amount of revenue.
Okay. All right. Maybe that actually, yeah, that'll probably be the second part, right? More measurable part, right?
Describe the business.
So describe the business. Okay. So let's take a look. If you want us to make it a little bit more specific, more measurable, what can you say?
More measurable?
Yeah. Like what specifically would make it successful in your eyes?
Stable, like a monthly income?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how much would you actually need for that to be a monthly income? Like.
Well, I wrote down $1,000 USD per month to start with.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so that could be the goal. All right. I will make 1,000 USD in profit or in revenue?
Profit.
In profit from my business. All right, which is that attainable, everyone? Yeah. All right. Maybe, well, it depends because we don't have the time down yet. She says by tomorrow, maybe not, right? But
Why
so,
not? Tomorrow?
Yeah, maybe. All right? Maybe we can get some clients here.
Yeah.
But what is the time? Like by when?
Well, like half of 2020, so that would be like July, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
July what? July 1st?
Sure, July 1st.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So by July 1st, 2020, my business will be making 1,000 USD in net profit per month. Now, is that specific? Yes. Is it measurable? Yes. Is that attainable by her? Yeah. Is it attainable just like in general? Is it realistic? Yeah. 6 months, right? And is it time bound? Perfect. Good job, Kat.
Thank you.
All right. Who's next? Come on up. Yeah, and we'll probably do like 2 or 3 examples. So if anyone else wants to get ready, just come up on the side so we can make it a little faster. So say your name and what your goal is.
Hi, I'm Jackie Jones from the Jackie Jones Challenge to Living the Life of Your Dreams. And this year I plan to get 20 additional stamps in my passport by December 31st, 2020.
Okay. So the goal is,
Travel.
all right, it's a travel-related goal. It's to get 20 new stamps in her passport by
December 31st, 2020.
December 31st, 2020. All right.
Huh?
Some companies don't do stamps.
Doesn't matter.
That'll make it more better.
Okay, so let's break it down. Is it specific?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it measurable?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it attainable by her?
Yes.
Yeah.
They said yeah.
Is it realistic?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you wanted to do it, yeah. Maybe that's something to sit down and be like, is that something I actually want to do?
It is for my business, for my show.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
Relevant.
And is it time bound?
Yes.
Yeah. So good job.
High five on it. Thank you.
All right, maybe one more. Just whoever. Especially if you're not really sure if it fits. That's helpful for other people. Like if you're like, yeah, I got this, then we can test that. But if you're like, I'm not really sure if this is specific enough or if this is realistic enough.
Yeah, very simple goal for
Name?
tomorrow.
Your name?
My name is Eli,
Okay.
and I just saw the time on my phone. I can track the time, so I have on my social media, Instagram and Facebook, I already have 40 minutes from today. So I was like, maybe it was time wasting, and I already have I know this already for a long time that I spend a lot of time on these apps. So for tomorrow, I want to spend less than 30 minutes each day from tomorrow on. I hope I can do it.
Okay. Very nice. All right. Very good. So let's break it down. All right. Is it specific? Yeah. Is it measurable? Is it attainable? Yeah. Is it realistic? Yeah. And is there a time bound? What time tomorrow? This time tomorrow? At what?
Today I already did 40 minutes. Today I already messed up. I did 40 minutes already. So tomorrow I will do 30 minutes or less.
Okay, so for the whole day tomorrow.
Yeah.
From 12 to 12 or what?
Yeah, 24 hours.
Okay.
From 5 a.m. till 5 a.m. the next morning.
I like it. Now that's specific. All right, good job.
All right. Thanks.
So I know it sounds a bit nitpicky. I'm like, is it from 5 a.m. to 5 a.m. or midnight to midnight? But these little details actually matter. And the reason why I'm pushing it so hard is when I was first getting started and I was setting my first goals, my mentor made me do this exact same exercises. And by mentor, I don't necessarily mean like official mentor, but it was a guy that I met in Chiang Mai who happened to be more successful than me. And then we would hang out and then he would just yell at me sometimes. So for all those wondering, like, how do you get a mentor? Just find a friend who's a bit more successful that cares about you. That's really it. So let's get to the next section. This is part 2. This is a fun part. All right. This is how are we actually going to achieve these goals? And this is where a lot of people mess up. It's pretty easy to say what you want, but not everyone is willing to even take the time to think how they're going to do it. So this is what I really like. All right, how are you going to reach your goals? How do you know when you reach your goal? And kind of just a fun part of it, almost like a bonus. We'll talk about that in a second, actually. But for an example, for one of my goals, when I was in Chiang Mai, I think 2013, my goal was to be a Thai millionaire. And it was a completely arbitrary number, but I was, pretty broke back then. I was like, all right, well, if I ever have $30,000 US, the Thai baht was weaker back then, but also my math was also weaker back then. But I was just like, okay, if I ever have 30,000 US, I'll be a Thai millionaire. And in my mind, that would give me financial freedom. That means that I don't need to stress and to worry about, how much money am I gonna make next month? Can I pay my bills? Can I make a visa run? I knew that if I had that buffer, I could probably live in Thailand cheaply for a long time and not worry about it. So to me, that was almost like retiring. And to really kind of make it like a real goal, I told myself, if I can hit that number, I'm gonna go out and buy a gold watch. And I wrote down the goal. I said, by November 1st, 2014, I will be a Thai millionaire and have 30,000 USD in the bank. All right. So that was my goal. All right. Let's tear me apart now. Right.
Is that the watch?
Don't jump to the end. Yeah, but yeah, it's the watch. Was it specific? Yeah. Right. Was it measurable? Yeah. All right. And I gave myself so just to kind of give more context, I had given myself about a little bit over a year and a half, and I had just started making money, so I was making like $2,000 a month just for my online business, and I was like, okay, if I can grow this a bit and I can, I can save all the money and live cheaply, is it attainable by me? And I was like, yeah, I think I could do it. And is it realistic? To some of us, we might think $30,000 is a lot. It's impossible. But in reality, it's not impossible, right? It's relatively realistic, right? And some people might be like, oh, it's easy, right? But is it time bound? Yes, I put that specific date, right? So I asked myself the next part. I said, what do I actually need to do to get to that point, to hit that goal? And for me, I was like, all right, well, if I want to have $30,000 in the bank, I have to grow my business. How do I grow my business? And this is like very specific to my situation in the past. And I'm only using this because it's something I actually wrote down and I did myself versus I'm not, at 6% body fat, so I don't want to use that as an example yet. But if I ever get to that point, I'll use that as an example. So I was like, all right, if I want to grow my business, what do I need? I need more suppliers. How do I get more suppliers? I got to call them. How often should I call them? 3 times a week. What else do I need? More products in my store. So what I do, so I wrote down, I'm gonna call 3 suppliers a week, I'm gonna list 3 new products a day, and I'm gonna get 3 new reviews a day, because I was like, if I need more products, new suppliers, more reviews for people to buy stuff. And then, most importantly, I need to keep my living expenses down, because it doesn't matter how much money you're earning, if you're not saving money, if you're just spending more, you're never gonna save enough. So, I could have made 100 grand, but if I was spending 10 grand a month, I would have nothing left over. So, in my mind, I was like, okay, this is what I needed to do. This is the specific steps I needed to personally take to grow my business to make more money, but then also to save that money. Does that make sense? All right, so now we're gonna do the same for everyone here, all right, I really want you to think, what do you actually need to do to reach those goals? You can start with just one, but if you have time, you can do this for the other ones. And obviously you can keep these pieces of paper and do this at home and really go through all your goals as well. But really ask yourself, what would it actually take to reach that goal? If my goal is to be able to speak, Russian in the next year, I need to practice speaking Russian, right? And I need it to be, very attainable and specific. So if I said, I'm gonna practice 1 minute a day, I'm probably not gonna be able to have a conversation. But if I said, I'm gonna practice for 1 hour a day, every day for the next 365 days, then może ja, gavorić po-ruski, right? So that could happen. So I want everyone to take your time to really write down exactly, specifically what it's gonna take for you guys to reach those goals. So let's take a good 5 or 10 minutes this time. And then we're gonna do the same thing, we're gonna do examples, because I have a feeling that this time we're gonna have a lot more to kind of break through. All right, so we took another break for everyone to sit down and take time to really write down what they're gonna do to reach their goals. I think this time we gave them about 5 or 10 minutes, just because it's a lot more to go over. But we're gonna do a couple examples, and I think it's gonna be exciting. It's so nice to see everyone sit down and actually put in the work. So let's do this, guys. Just say your name and what your goal is. What your goal is, and then how you're gonna achieve it.
Okay, my name's Alistair, I work in digital marketing. My goal is, hold on, landing page type theme builder, and speak to him, and if I like him, get 2 to 4 hours one-to-one training, buy the software, meet with Daria, who'll do Facebook ads for me, build the new landing page by January 31st, 2020, get 2 video testimonials from clients by February the 8th, 2020, and I've put 2 names of clients there. Start running Facebook ads by January 31st, 2020, do prep work including emails and various things for Facebook by January 10th, 2020, spend £500, about $600 in the first 30-day period.
Okay. So I like it. It sounds a little bit more like a to-do list, though, than how you're gonna do it. What are kind of the steps that you'd have to take to achieve those? And let's take them one by one, right? So let's first talk about what's kind of the most important thing on there for you. What is the number one key thing that if you just did that, you'd be on your way?
Start building out a landing page.
Okay. What is the very first step that you'd have to take?
Get some training how to do that.
Okay. Are you going to sign up for a course? Are you going to find a coach? What are you going to do?
I've got a guy who I've
Okay.
been recommended.
Okay. So you're going to sign up with him for...
Yeah, have a chat, have a 30-minute chat. If I like him, then okay, I'll buy some hours.
Okay. Perfect. All right. And then what's the next step?
The next step in conjunction is to meet with the person who's going to be doing the Facebook ads.
Okay.
And give her all the information that she needs.
Okay. So before we get to that Facebook part, let's finish the landing page part.
Okay, so I would need to then, over the time period, is then learn how to actually build, with this person's help, to actually finish a landing page which the Facebook ads person is happy with.
Okay. So, oh, we're on the video. So I guess come a bit closer.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry for people at home watching. Okay, so step 1 is to sign up for the training. Step 2, do you have the domain already? Do you have WordPress already? Do you have Thrive Themes already?
All of that. Yeah.
Okay, so you have that step ready. Good. All right. Step 3 is: are you going to build it yourself or are you going to outsource it?
Within what I've said, the idea is I learn the basics,
Okay.
but I believe this person can build it fairly easily. So I don't know exactly how that will pan out, but the idea is I do learn the basics.
Okay, so it could be I'm first going to spend 1 week trying to launch it myself. Then if it doesn't pass, the sniff test or it's not good enough, then I'll have him do it.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay, very good. And then how will you know that landing page is done? Like what specifically will you be like, okay, this part is done, now let's move on to the next one?
The lady who's doing the Facebook ads will tell me if it's okay or not.
Okay, perfect. All right. So that's a very clear plan now. That's not just a to-do list. That's like, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3. Good job. Now we can do the same for the Facebook ads. Mm-hmm. What is the first step for you to get the Facebook ads launched?
I just have to get some extra information, which I've been asked for, to the person who's going to do them. Maybe I don't need to be specific on that, or I can if you want me to be.
No, as in, like, is she doing it? Are you doing it? Okay.
She's doing it. Yeah. So I just have some specific information on lookalike lists and some of my client data and stuff.
So maybe it is you need to get her that information by X date or something.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then it could be then you give her X budget and tell her to go ahead or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. What else was on the list?
That's pretty much it.
All right. I think it's very attainable, and I think you can get it done. Good job.
Cool. Thanks.
All right. Who else wants to be an example? Feel free to come on up. You guys being shy? It doesn't have to be business related. It can literally be anything. All right. I know some people don't like publicly stating their goals. I know it's a very personal thing. But you want to do it? Come on up. Please tell everyone your name and what your goal is first.
Hi, I'm Danielle. So my goal is kind of related to knowledge and skills. So I wrote that my goal is to play the piano 3 times a week, starting this week. So how I'm gonna do it? So I'm gonna do 1 piano class a week, and I'm gonna pay it in advance, so I don't have any excuses to like stay away from it. And I'm gonna set 2 regular times a week that are gonna be dedicated for that, preferably in the morning. And then this is like, and I divided it like when I'm in Chiang Mai, this is what I'm gonna do, and then after Chiang Mai, I'm gonna leave in Kopangan. So there I'm gonna find, like first week, I'm gonna arrive to Kopangan, I'm gonna find a place to practice.
Okay. Very cool. So let's break that down. So the goal is to practice piano 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And you're gonna starting by this week.
This week.
Okay. Smart, attainable goal. Very good. And then the action plan is here. You're gonna sign up for the classes, and you're gonna pay in advance to make sure you go. Good job. All right. It's very, very specific. Then all you have to do is actually just show up. So that's actually like an easy goal. But what can you? This is actually a good example because a lot of us, when we're in Chiang Mai or we're in a good routine, it's really easy to stay in our goals. But then as soon as we start traveling, or as soon as we move location, do you ever feel like the routine just dies and it's hard to keep going? You know, for me, it's with all categories. It's with, you know, going to the gym, eating healthy, you know, even going out and being social, and also with business. So what are some things that we can do, either with, you know, in piano, or even, you know, to make sure your gym routine stays relevant, you know, the next place you go, so you don't miss a week or 2 weeks, you know, or it can be, you know, with work. How do you make sure that you're actually going to work well in the new place? What are some things that we can do beforehand, before we even get there, to make sure that happens?
Just like trying to figure things in advance. For me, it's always like first week trying to figure out like where's the places I like to go to, like where's the court space I like, or like this helped me to build my routine. So.
Okay, so specifically for piano, what is something you can do before you even get to your next location?
So just like try to figure it out in advance, like try to look it up online or.
Okay, all right. We're very lucky now that we have Google Maps. You know, in pretty much most places we go, we can just Google piano lessons Koh Phangan or piano lessons Tbilisi, and we can find it. All right, so that could be on your list.
Yeah.
You can say, 2 weeks before I go, I'm going to research all the piano places online. Maybe next step is I'm gonna get the price list. Third step might be I'm gonna book lessons before I even get there.
Cool.
Yeah? All right. Thank you. All right. Anyone else want to be an example before we move on?
You need to stay in the frame.
Yeah, yeah.
You need to stay in the frame, right?
Yeah.
You can see that, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So the goal was to...
Name, sorry.
Sorry, I'm Martin from Latvia. Really, really small country in Northern Europe, but really cool in summertime. Just a quick shout out for that. And, you know, small countries need to fight for ourselves,
yeah.
Right? Anyway, my goal was to earn 3K per month from doing social media marketing for agency back in Latvia, and by getting my own clients. And some steps would be to buy a course for buy a course, training course.
So maybe even before we get there, let's go back to the SMART goals. Can you tell us specifically what the goal was? Yeah.
The specific goal is to earn 3K per month from working at an agency in Latvia, and by personal clients by 31st of July.
Okay. And you want to work in an agency in Latvia, or do you want to be able to do this remotely?
Well, I'm already doing remote work for agency in Latvia.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you want to increase your monthly salary to $3,000 a month by July 31st.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
That's a very smart, attainable goal. I like it.
Yeah, moving away from just working for agency, being more, independent and creating my own thing,
Nice.
step by step.
Okay. Good goal. So now how are you going to achieve that?
Right, so I'm taking a course that I need to finish for social media marketing.
Okay.
I'm starting a relationship with a business mentor or coach that I need to continue on. And I need to start doing campaigns for, outside agency for my own clients.
Okay.
So that's outreach and, letting more people know what I do and stuff.
So nice. So it sounds like for him to be able to grow what he's worth, like in terms of salary or income, he needs the training, more skills, right? So depending on what your business is, think about it. Say like, is there something, if I learn this, I can make more money? Either I'm worth more, or I can charge more, or either I become worth more, or I can charge more, I become in more demand, whatever it is. If you're a programmer and you're like, okay, if I learn this new language or this whatever protocol, then I'm worth more. If you're a marketer and you're like, all right, well, if I get really good with, Facebook ads, then I'll be worth more, I can charge more. Or, XYZ, whatever it is. You can think whatever your specific goals are, what is something that if you acquired either a license or skill or knowledge or education in, whether it's through taking a formal course, an online course, or self-studying, what can you make you worth more? The second part was it having more experience? Or that was the third part. What was the second?
The second one is business mentor.
The second was have a mentor. What specifically about having a mentor would actually help you get closer to your 3K a month goal?
Well, just a more experienced person in the field that I can run the ideas by and see my progress, see my work, that can give me like a feedback, what's good, what's working, and what to improve.
Okay. So that's very smart, right? He's very specific on what the mentor is for. A lot of people just say, I want a mentor, but then what is that mentor going to do for you? They're not going to do the work for you. But what he said was very specific. I'm going to run my ideas by the mentor to make sure I'm on the right track. And you could be even more specific. You could say, I'm going to check in with them every time there's a major decision to be made, or you can say, I'm going to check in with them, weekly or monthly, whatever it is. The more specific you are with these, not only what you're going to do, but also why you need to do it, the easier it is to hit these goals. And the third part is more experience. Because not only is he going to make some more money while doing it, but even if he didn't charge to do the work on the side, if he does work for other agencies or freelance or for himself, he has more experience, he can build up his portfolio, build up the skills, build up testimonials, whatever it is, then he can realistically charge more. Is that correct?
Yeah. Exactly, mate. You nailed it.
All right.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I like it. Good job. Oh, I love, we got people lined up now. We're excited. Everyone's pumped up for 2020. All right, say your name and your goal.
I'm Pierre. My goal is to become the first millionaire of my family in 2020. So to make 1 million in profit with my company.
Nice. Okay, and then how are you gonna, so by when?
By the end of 2020.
So, December 31st, 2020? Okay. Smart goal, all right. How are you gonna attain it?
I know to get there for 500K, then I don't know. So, I don't know exactly. The goal is to close deal in 500K.
Speak a little bit closer.
The thing I realize now in business is like almost every month I know I can do more than what I was expecting. So I know to get to 500K, so I decided to go to 1 million, go further.
Okay.
So to get 100K, I need to close one big deal that I'm working on at the moment.
Okay.
And then start doing coaching on copywriter.
Okay. Okay.
That's the two things.
So is anyone else here lost on what the specific steps are? Okay. So let's break it down. Like, what are the actual specific steps? You can say, I need 10 more clients paying $100,000 to get $1 million by the end of the year. That could be a very specific thing. And then you could break it down. If that's an example, you could say, to get 10 paying clients, I need to call 100 people. I need to do 100 pitches, all right? Or you can, whatever the step-by-step plan is, and normally you need to have at least, let's say, like 3 solid steps. For my example, it was, all right, I want to make more money through my online business, and I can say I want to make $30,000 in revenue every month for the next 12 months, or I want to make $1 million in revenue for the next month. But for me specifically, at least in my business, I was like, all right, well, if I want to make more sales, I want to make more money, what do I need to make more money? I can't just say I want more sales. For me specifically, I was like, all right, well, I need probably more products to sell, because if I have more products to sell, I get more people coming in, clicking on my ads, more things to sell. How do I get more products? I need to upload more products. So I got to spend time uploading them. But what if I run out of products to upload? What else can I do? I need more suppliers. So if I can get more suppliers, then I have more products to upload. How do I get more suppliers? I need to call more suppliers, or I need to call them back even though they hung up on me 26 times. So how many times am I going to call them? I'm going to call them 3 times a week, no matter what, until I get more suppliers, so then I have more products to sell, and I can upload more products. So this is kind of the logic that I want everyone to be thinking about when you're thinking about your goals and your plans. Do you have any ideas what those specific things are you need to do?
So as I told you, I have a really specific idea until 500K, and then I don't know. But the same happened to me this year, so I'm pretty confident. So the first step, which I'm doing already now, is to close one deal. It's going to be around 250K a year. And then I'm going to work with bigger clients. So it will be a similar deal, but maybe like around 500K. But this is probably going to be in like 6 months. And what I'm going to do is going to events to meet this kind of people. So it's like really big conference, probably in France or in the US. So this is the step. And then I'm going to launch a coaching program. And I'm going to work with people that can pay at least 50K a month. Yeah, something like that. This is the step. Is it precise enough?
We're getting there. It's definitely getting closer. All right. So now we have at least some numbers and some metrics. All right. So one thing that I heard was how to get the clients, and to get the clients is to go to conferences to meet them and get to meet them. So what are the steps for that? How many conferences are going to go to when you're there? Are you going to have a booth? Are you just going to go up to people and network? What specifically are you going to do to get these clients?
Okay, so my strategy in business is to be a sniper, so I can spend 1 month looking at a deal, and then when I will talk to someone, I know exactly what he needs, so I know I'm going to close the deal. It's like 99% chance. So I'm going to go maybe to 2 or 3 events during the year, target really precise niche that I can bring a lot of value, target people before, connect with them, and then meet them and close the deal during the event or after.
Okay, so it sounds like one thing that you could do is you can say, I'm going to look for the 2 or the 3 conferences I want to go to this next year. I'm going to put it in my calendar. I'm going to buy my tickets. So I'm going to make sure I'm going to be there. And then before I go, 1 month before, 2 months before, whatever it is, I'm going to get a list of exhibitors are going to be there, or people are going to be there, and I'm going to research what they need before I get there. So then I have a pitch to give them when I'm there. That could be something very specific and actionable.
Yeah, the only thing I realized is that I always plan for like the whole year, and it never goes as planned. Like the first step goes well, and then I realized I can do way more than what I was expecting. Like I arrived last year in Shanghai, totally broke. My goal was to make 1,500 a month, and after 2 months I was making like 3,000. So I was like, okay, let's raise. And working with better clients and stuff. So for me, it's really, the struggle is really to plan more than maybe 3 months.
Okay. So I hear this a lot. Is we get if we try to plan too far in advance, maybe our plan goes completely off course, or maybe we already hit that goal sooner. But here's the thing: is planning isn't perfect, right? Like everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, until something comes up, right? The reason why we plan isn't to specifically follow that formula. It's so if at least we have a roadmap, right? It's kind of like the difference between trying to get from Las Vegas to San Francisco and just driving. Yeah, maybe you'll get there. Maybe you might find a better place. But if you don't have any plan at all, you're not following any map, you're not following GPS, you're not following anything, you might not end up anywhere. You might end up in the wrong direction. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to halfway decide, you know what, I don't really want to go to San Francisco. There's a better opportunity in Arizona, so I'm going to go there instead. But the plan, especially with business, is to have some kind of game plan. And there's some people like Grant Cardone, who has a really good book called The 10X Rule. He says, don't make small obtainable goals for the end of the year or end of the 10 years. Make goals that you'll never hit. And that way you're always striving for it. And if you plan to shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you reach, you land in the stars. So that could be a strategy as well. But the plan is, like, you have to have some kind of plan. Like Elon Musk isn't just saying like, oh yeah, I want to go to outer space, but I'm not gonna make any plan. He has plans. He might not make it there, or he might get, it might change, he might pivot, but we need to have some kind of plans to get there. So I wish you the best of luck with your business. Let me know how it goes. But yeah, it's always good to plan to maybe 10x your goal, and then say, all right, what are the steps for me to get to that point? And if you get there, good job, set a bigger goal. If you don't get there, you know what, at least you're on the right path. So thanks.
Okay, so was it precise enough, what I say in the end about the event?
So we'll ask everyone here. The question is, was it precise enough? Do you have a question?
I think for me what the difference was with your example was that they were like mini goals with dates attached to them. So there were things that you were going to do per month or per week, which were going to build towards it. So for me, the thing that was missing was that there wasn't...
Sorry, say again.
Yeah, the thing that I heard was that there wasn't these mini goals with other dates involved. So for example, you talked about you've got a deal prospect of 250k, you put a date against that. By the end of February the 27th, midday, I'd have closed that deal, and I'll already be doing my research on my sniper research on the next person. I'm going to be throwing that person up within 30 days of that. And just putting those scheduled in, I think will be really much more powerful for you. It'll give you, because I think what the danger with yearly goals, it's only a week before the end of the goal we realise how far away we've got. So we need like these mini reminders and targets to go, okay, we're on track. If we're not on track, okay, what do we need to double our efforts, or we need to recruit extra people, or we're on track, awesome, let's just keep it up. But you need these little reminders to see if we're on target or not.
Do you have any idea about reminder?
Yeah. Hold on one second. I'm at the frame. So thanks for sharing that. I think that was a really good kind of recap and another different perspective, because at the end of the day, like, he might be a genius, he might be a sales king, he might be also just very lucky, right? But let's say I'm a competitor, right? I don't know what his business is, but let's say I was a competitor in the business, and we were both wanting to get these clients and make $1 million. So he has his plan that you heard, right? He's going to go in, sniper shot it, he's going to make the money. And then let's say me, I'm the competitor. I'm like, all right, well, I'm not as smart, I'm not as good looking, I'm not as tall, I'm not as charismatic, but I'm going to plan the shit out of this, all right? I'm going to sit down, I'm going to book all my flights, I'm going to research my hotels, see where these guys are staying, so stay in the same hotel, get the 2 days early, and then I'm going to hang out in the bar from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. every night in hopes to meet them those 3 days before the conference starts. And then I'll have my pitch deck ready, because I'll have my slides made 1 month before. I'm going to email it to 26 people on this list that I've already studied 3 months before. At the end of the day, there's no guarantee that I'm going to do better, but at the end of the day, at least I have like a solid game plan. I know what to work on. I think a lot of people, a mistake they make is they kind of have this big goal. I want X, but they don't actually know how to get there. They wake up, they're like, all right, well, I know I want to be in shape, but I don't actually know what to do. I don't have a plan. I want to be successful. I want to be a millionaire, or I want to have a thriving business. But you wake up, and unless you specifically know I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna go to this co-working space, I'm gonna work from this hour to this hour on these projects in this order, you can sometimes end up just feeling lost. And this is the whole point of goal planning, is for you to wake up every single day, start every new week, every new month, and know exactly, specifically what you need to do to hit that goal. And there's still no guarantee you're gonna hit that goal, but at least you have a fighting chance. So I really, really hope that helped. I wish you the best of luck. Good luck with that.
I have one last question for
Yeah.
you. How do you update the goal? How often do you update them?
Yeah, that's actually a great question, is how often do I update my goals? So what I do is at the beginning of the year, I really sit down and figure out what do I really ultimately want. And I have these like kind of core things. I'm like, these things, no matter what, you know, unless something like really, really big changes, like that's like kind of my core goals for the year. And sure, little things might come up, little things might change, and I might have to pivot a bit here and there, but as long as you have the vision of kind of the big goal, at least you kind of know, like, you know, do I move here, do I move here? It almost doesn't matter. Like the day-to-day doesn't really matter. Like if your goal, you know, all right. Like if your goal is to get in shape and your plan is to work out 6 days a week for 20 minutes a day for the next 365 days, let's say you decide, you know what, I don't really like doing, you know, TRX anymore, I'm gonna swim instead. Or I don't like doing CrossFit anymore, I'm gonna do yoga. Like that doesn't really, it doesn't matter, right? As long as you follow that big game plan. I'm gonna work out 6 days a week, I'm not gonna eat any sugar, you know, and that is my plan, then you'll end up getting there. So thank you very much. We've got to move on, but I appreciate it. Chat with Kat.
Sorry, I had like a little bit of a weird question. So, yes. What advice would you give to someone who's afraid to set goals because I'm afraid that I will disappoint myself?
Oh. That was a very good question. Thank you for having the courage to ask that, because I think a lot of people, maybe they're in the same position as you. You know, a lot of people might be afraid to set goals because they're afraid they're not going to hit it. And they're like, well, if I didn't set a goal, then I'll, well, you know, like if I didn't publicly stand up here and tell all of you that I'm going to weigh 215 pounds and have visible abs by July 11th, 2020, I won't have to come up here and, you know, do an ab check. But because it's out there, come up to me. All right, July 11th, like, Johnny, I see you're in Tbilisi, Georgia. Show me your abs. I'm gonna have to do it. And knowing that, first off, I mean, I can see why people don't want to put that goal out there. I can also even see why people don't even want to think that goal for themselves, because they're like, I don't want to feel like a failure if that didn't happen. So if I just don't make the goal, if it happens, great, it's a bonus. But if it doesn't happen, I'm not disappointing anyone. I'm not disappointing myself. I'm not disappointing the public. I'm not going to be ashamed. But at the end of the day, it's how bad do you want it, all right? Would I rather just feel comfortable and not have, you know, and not have to do, you know, to even deal with myself and not have to deal with other people, and I can just do my own thing, I can just go my life? Yeah, maybe that's fine. If you're like, my goal is just to, you know, stay sedentary and I'm okay with my life, I don't really want to make any goals, then yeah, it's fine. If you're like, I kind of want to get in shape, but, you know, I would rather eat donuts, then you're like, all right, well, don't make the goal of getting a six-pack, right? But if you're like, I know this is something that would make me happy, I know this is something I can obtain, I know my life would be better, and I know it's something that if I did it, I would be happier. You know, and it doesn't matter if it's fitness or business or relationships, whatever it is. If it's something that you really know that you want, it's worth the gamble. It'll never become easy, you know, but it'll be worth it. So I hope that helps. I'm sure, you know, we're all gonna have challenges going through kind of the next year. You know, it's not gonna be easy. Everyone kind of falls off the bandwagon sometimes. You know, like there's probably a 50% chance You're gonna come up to me and you're gonna be like, Johnny, you're still fat. And you know what? I'm like, all right, well, I tried, all right? And you can say, did you really try? I'm like, all right, I'll try harder next year. But at least right now, I'm giving myself that fighting chance. I'm saying, I know this is something that'll make me happy. I put it out there as a goal. I have a game plan. I'm gonna work towards it. And if it doesn't happen, at least I had a shot. If I never even tried, if I never even set that goal, if I never made the plan, the chances would probably be 0. So let's give ourselves that little chance, and let's crush 2020, guys. Thanks. So one thing that I really like doing at the end of every year is I like to kind of go through my entire calendar from last January 2019, and every month, and kind of just see where I've been, what my goals were for last year. Did I achieve those goals? So I sat down and I spent the last couple of days writing a super long blog post breaking down by month exactly where I went, what my plan was, what I ended up doing, what my goal was, what the lessons learned were. There's a long video in there too. So if you go to johnnyfd.com, the blog post is called Year in Review 2019 Recap, as well as my goals for 2020, which you can see in there. I've already spoiled 2 of them. You can try to guess what those 2 were. But if you want to know more about the Gold Watch Challenge and how I set that goal and kind of that whole chapter of that life, I actually wrote about it in a book called Life Changes Quick. It's on Amazon. You can check it out there. And last but not least, I hope to see a lot of you guys at the Nomad Summit that's coming up. Who is going to the Nomad Summit? Woo! Keep your arms up, guys. Nice. So half the room. I would love to see all of you there. I promise you it's a really, really good event. We have really, really good speakers that are very, very successful in all the different fields. And this is our 6th annual event here in Chiang Mai. And it's great that it's in the beginning of the year, because it really just sets the foundation of what is currently working, what has worked for others, as well as what you should be doing in the next year, regardless of what your business is in. And so you can take a look at nomadsummit.com for the lineup. Our latest speaker that we just added is Matt Diggity, who is, and actually I just had dinner with these guys last night. We do something called 6 Figure Sushi, which is like a private dinner that we just kind of randomly do every once in a while when there's people in town. And what was really cool is, out of this, I think 7 of us, all of us met in Chiang Mai like 6 years ago, and we were all broke at the time. We were all making less than $1,000 a month, and we were all just like trying to, just trying to build our business, trying to build our lives. And what was really, really cool is I was the brokest one there out of everyone. The guy, so Matt Diggity makes like crazy, I don't know how much money, like, I don't want to shout him out, but like, I would guess like 40 grand a month or something. The guy next to me, he had sold one of his businesses for a few $1 million last month, and he's like, I don't know what to do with the money now. It's all sitting in a bank account, and how can I invest it? My buddy Sam Marks was there, who I do a podcast with called Invest Like a Boss. He lives in Chiang Mai too, in the same building as me. That's how I met him. And he went from just like trying to build a business to selling his business for $10 million. So there's a lot of people in Chiang Mai that are very, very successful, but none of it's overnight. None of it is that easy. So all these guys, they just kept like just pushing it for the last 6 years. So it is possible, and it's nice to see that. But what's really, really cool is all of them have actually spoken at the Nomad Summit. They're either speaking this year or they've spoken in the past. We had Mark Brenwall was there, Philip A was there, Sam Marks spoke there, Matt Diggity speaking there. And it's just a really, really, really powerful event with 300 plus digital nomads, all very successful. And all the tickets include lunch at Shangri-La, which is a really, really good lunch. Like we have coffee and snack breaks throughout the day. We have all the talks. And then we have just a whole weekend of stuff. There's some optional events like workshops on Monday, but in general, that main ticket gets you those main days. And it's gonna be really fun. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to ask me. Feel free to take home those papers and really just take your time. I know I try to give everyone as much time as we could today to sit down and write it down, But really, it might take you all day. You might need to go to a quiet coffee shop and really write down what do you want to achieve this year, and more importantly, how are you going to achieve it. I really think that I know that it's possible for all of us because I've seen it, and Chiang Mai is a really, really good supportive place to do it. So thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it. All right, goodbye, Nomad Coffee Club. That was really, really fun. See you guys at the Nomad Summit, guys.